Once again, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the ninth week of our free BRCGS certification familiarization training. I'm Jezreel from the Customer Success Team at Consultare Inc. Group. Last week, we had a short pause to give way to the US Thanksgiving holiday, and 2 weeks ago, we covered industry awareness as required under BRCGS Clause 1.1.8 within senior management commitment and continual improvement. Today, we will focus on access to standard in line with BRCGS Food Safety Clause 1.1.9, still under the senior management commitment requirements. Under this requirement, sites must maintain a genuine original copy, whether hard copy or electronic, of the current BRCGS standard and stay informed of any published updates or protocol changes posted on the BRCGS website. This ensures that teams are working from the most up to date expectations for food safety and certification integrity. By understanding and implementing this requirement, organizations strengthen their culture of compliance, ensure consistent alignment with global food safety standards, and empower personnel with accurate, current information needed to make the right decisions on their facility every day. By the way, this free training session is sponsored by Consultare Inc. Group, a compliance company. Consultare Inc. Group is a registered U.S. government vendor and full-service GRC or governance, risk, and compliance company specializing in compliance management, regulatory documentation, quality systems, cybersecurity, and digital transformation. We operate as remote virtual compliance department enabling organizations to achieve and maintain regulatory alignment through integrated consulting, GRC oversight, and software enabled automation. Today, our services revolve around compliance management software, specialized training, and end to end support services that help organizations achieve and maintain compliance with international standards. And through our platform, interlinkiq.com, we offer an integrated compliance management system that streamlines documentation, monitoring, and audit readiness. We also provide dedicated compliance and certification support programs for FSVP, PCQI, SQF, BRCGS, FSSC 22000, ISO 9001, GMP, and HACCP, helping businesses strengthen their regulatory compliance, enhance operational efficiency, and ensure alignment with global food safety and quality management standards. Now let's take a look at our training schedule. This week, we will focus on the topic Access to Standard as outlined in BRCGS Clause 1.1.9. Gaining a clear understanding of this requirement is essential to achieving and sustaining your BRCGS certification goals. In today's session, we will begin by familiarizing ourselves with the BRCGS 1.1.9 Access to Standard, starting with an overview of the requirements and a walkthrough of the compliance action activities performed on a regular schedule to maintain certification readiness. We will also discuss the annual review and internal audit activities, which help verify program effectiveness and drive continuous improvement. You are encouraged to ask questions in the chat box, which we will address in next week's session. Participants may also request for a free 90-day trial of our BRCGS certification management software to help manage compliance tasks, assign accountability, and stay audit ready. Finally, all participants will receive a training certificate. Please ensure that you have completed the free certification familiarization training sign-up form shared in the chat. On the screen, you will find a sample of the familiarization certificate that you will receive upon completing each session. Please note, however, that certificates are prepared and issued every Friday and Monday, so please allow our team more time to process them. With that, let's move forward to our training session where we will be working directly with the BRCGS Compliance Management System software. So let's start by going over the description of the requirements of BRCGS 1.1.9 Access to Standard. Please take a look at the description on the screen. It says the site shall maintain a genuine original hard copy or electronic version of the current standard and remain aware of any published updates or protocol changes on the BRCGS website. So you may update or edit the description as needed, for example, to reflect revisions when new BRCGS editions are being released in the future. Now, to implement this requirement, the action items are outlined in the Compliance tab. So this section supports the food safety and quality team leader as well as site technical or quality manager by organizing tasks by frequency, whether they are performed daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, or semi-annually. So here are some examples of your compliance action items to comply with the requirement under Access to Standard. For your daily activity, maintain a current, authentic hard copy or electronic version of the latest BRCGS food safety standard on site and ensure that the document management system records access to the standard and confirms the latest version availability. For your weekly activity, review BRCGS website or official communications for updates or protocol changes. Then for the quarterly, verify that the standard in use is the latest version and that any superseded versions are removed or clearly marked as obsolete. And for the biannual action, conduct internal audits or checks to confirm that all departments have access to the current standard. So basically, this serves as your checklist of compliance activities that you need to perform to comply with BRCGS 1.1.9 access to standard. You can also add your own compliance action items, or we can preload all the required activities for you to perform. Now, to complete these activities, we provided corresponding work instructions and compliance activities in the instructions and evidence section, along with the required artifacts or records to document completion. For example, to complete the action item which states that verify that standard in use is the latest version and that any superseded versions are removed or clearly marked as obsolete, let's click on the View option here to see the work instructions to guide you perform those action items or complete those action items. Now, to complete the action item which states that verify that the standard in use is the latest version and that any superseded versions are removed or clearly marked as obsolete. So we have to perform the following action item or compliance activities. First is to review version control procedure. So this can be done by verifying that the facility has a documented procedure for managing versions of the BRCGS food safety standard, including the following: identification and labeling of the latest version, procedures for removing or marking obsolete versions, and responsibilities for maintaining version control. So your artifacts and records involved in this step are your document control procedure, SOP for BRCGS standard version management, or approval matrix or responsibility assignment. The next activity is to inspect current and superseded versions. So this involves checking that the BRCGS standard in use is the current version. So you have to confirm that the latest version is available for staff and verify that superseded versions are either removed from circulation or clearly marked as obsolete. Your artifacts and records involve physical or electronic copies on the current standard, record showing removal or labeling of obsolete versions, and document control log or version history. Next step is to communicate version changes to staff. So this can be done by ensuring that staff are aware of the latest version and do not use obsolete copies. So this involves notifying personnel of updates and providing guidance on accessing the current version. You can use email notification or internal memos to communicate these changes, or staff acknowledgement forms and training records if updates require awareness. Then next step is to audit version control compliance. This can be done by conducting periodic audit of the version control process. So this involves confirming that only the latest version of the BRCGS standard is in use and verifying that obsolete versions are appropriately managed. For your artifacts and records, it can be your internal audit reports, corrective action records, or management review meeting minutes confirming version control compliance. So this is just an example or a work instruction that you can use to complete each of these action items here. Now, to complete a specific action item, you need to upload supporting evidence of your artifacts, records, or images as proof of compliance. So let's choose the same action item and demonstrate how to comply, how to turn from no to yes. So in this case, we have uploaded a sample document, which is BRCGS Standard Version Controlled Verification Record. Let's take a look at this document. So this document um, shows that the facility or the site has verified that the current BRCGS standard, which is issue 9, is being used across all relevant departments and that any previous versions have been removed or clearly marked as obsolete. It also documents that the document control system is updated, that department access is confirmed, and that recent BRCGS updates were reviewed. So overall, the record includes a formal sign-off by the QA manager to demonstrate accountability and compliance with the clause 1.1.9 of the BRCGS standard. So this is just an example of an evidence of compliance for your action item. Your goal is to complete all of these action items and provide evidence of compliance, turning no into yes. So these documents can also be retrieved. The attached documents here can also be retrieved and presented during an actual audit as proof of compliance. Now let's go over the annual review tab, which also serves as your gap assessment tool. So this tab is designed as an internal audit checklist in the form of a questionnaire to help you maintain compliance with the BRCGS certification requirements. Under access to standard requirements, annual review questions might include the following. Does the site maintain a genuine, original hard copy or electronic version of the current BRCGS food safety standard? Is the version of the standard in use the latest published version? Are any superseded versions removed from circulation or clearly marked as obsolete? Does the FSQA team regularly check the BRCGS website or official communications for updates or protocol changes? Are updates or changes communicated to senior management and relevant departments promptly? Is there documentation showing access to the standard and confirmation of the latest version availability? Has an internal audit or check been conducted to confirm all departments have access to the current standard? Are staff trained or refreshed on awareness of BRCGS updates and the location of the standard? The senior management review updates to demonstrate commitment to continual improvement of food safety and quality? And are records like meeting minutes, emails, or memos maintained as evidence of communication and review of updates? So, same with the compliance action items, you can also add your own assessment questions or annual review items here to comply with this requirement to the access to standard under 1.1.9 of BRCGS. So let's take an annual review item as an example and see how compliance can be demonstrated. For example, let's consider this question here. Does the FSQA team regularly check the BRCGS website or official communications for updates or protocol changes? So let's check on the work instruction on how to complete this annual review item. So these are the compliance activities that you need to perform. First, you need to review update monitoring procedure. So this can be done by verifying that the facility has a documented procedure requiring the FSQA team to monitor the BRCGS website and official communications. So it involves confirming defined frequency of review, like monthly, quarterly, or upon notification, and checking for responsibilities assigned to FSQA personnel for monitoring updates. So you need to assign who among the FSQA personnel needs to check on or needs to check on any updates of the BRCGS standards from their website or any official communication. So your artifacts and records include procedure for monitoring BRCGS updates, approval matrix or responsibility assignment, and FSQA departmental work instructions. Next activity is to verify FSQA monitoring activities. So you need to ensure that the FSQA team conducts regular checks of BRCGS official platforms. This can be done by reviewing logs or tracking sheets that document each review activity, and confirming checks include standard updates, interpretation guidelines, position statements, or any protocol changes. So your artifacts and records can include update monitoring log or tracking sheet, screenshots or printouts of BRCGS website during review, and copies of official newsletters or update emails from BRCGS. Next is to validate communication of findings. So you need to check that FSQA communicates identified updates or changes to relevant departments and senior management. This can be done by confirming timely dissemination of updates and ensuring that communication includes summary of changes and actions required. For your artifacts and records, this can be in the form of email notification or internal memos, meeting minutes where updates were discussed, or staff acknowledgement forms. And finally, compliance activity number 4, audit the FSQA compliance with monitoring requirements. So this can be done by conducting internal audits to ensure that the FSQA monitoring activities are being performed consistently. So this can be done by reviewing flags for completeness and frequency and verifying response actions when updates are issued. For your artifacts or records, this can be your internal audit reports, corrective action records if monitoring lapses were identified, and management review minutes confirming update monitoring compliance. Now let's demonstrate how to show compliance with this specific assessment question. So to show compliance, you need to upload evidence, documentary evidence of compliance in the form of records, forms, images, or logs. So one example is the BRCGS website and communication review. To comply with the question, that does the FSQA team regularly check the BRCGS website or official communications for updates or protocol changes? So let's take a look at this document. Okay, you have here the review period for the entire 2025, who is the reviewer, and the department involved, the date reviewed. So the frequency here is, as we can see, this is done on a quarterly basis, January, April, July, October, and one on December. And then the source check, whether it's from BRCGS website, official email, or BRCGS newsletters. And you also have here the findings and updates, the actions taken, and the name of the verifier. So this record shows that the FSQA team has consistently monitored the BRCGS website and official communications throughout the year to stay informed of any updates, protocol changes, or guidance. For example, on July 12th, the team reviewed the BRCGS website protocol amendments, and they have identified a minor protocol change regarding traceability. As a result, the internal traceability procedure was updated and the FSQA staff were notified. So other reviews such as the April 10th, 2025 check of BRCGS official email communications and periodic website checks in January and October were also lagged and communicated to relevant departments as needed. So this demonstrates that the team actively maintains awareness of the current standard, ensures internal procedures reflect updates, and effectively communicates changes, providing clear evidence of ongoing compliance with BRCGS Clause 1.1.9. Then again, this is just an example of a compliance document that you can provide to complete an assessment item. So your goal is to turn the status of every annual review questionnaire from no to yes to help you measure compliance progress while also preparing your facility for both internal and external BRCGS certification audits. So at this point, you may now post your questions in the chat box, and please note that all inquiries will be reviewed to ensure that your questions will be properly addressed. We will cover these questions in detail during the next week's training session. In the meantime, we'd like to invite you to our other free certification familiarization training sessions held every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. Central Time. Please note that the CGMP training is conducted separately every Tuesday at 1 p.m. These sessions cover various topics including FSSC 22000 certification, SQF certification, FDA Food Code, Foreign Supplier Verification Program or FSVP compliance, and 21 CFR Parts 117 and 111 compliance or CGMP for human food and dietary supplements. The sessions are open to everyone, so feel free to invite colleagues or friends in the food industry to join this free training by sharing the Zoom meeting link with them. You may also schedule a one-on-one BRCGS coaching session for personalized guidance on implementing and maintaining compliance with your site's BRCGS requirements. So this concludes our training session on BRCGS 1.1.9 Access to Standard. Your training certificates will be sent to your registered email addresses. We also invite you to join us again next week as we discuss our next topic, Certification Audit Management, as outlined in BRCGS Clause 1.1.10. For those who haven't yet completed the free certification familiarization sign-up form, we encourage you to do so and indicate your interest in receiving a 90-day free BRCGS certification management software. The software provides access to the compliance dashboard, training management tools, customer and supplier requirements management, and digitized forms or e-forms, ideal for those transitioning from a paper-based to a paperless system. If you have any questions, clarifications, or feedback regarding today's training, please don't hesitate to reach out to us at hello@consultareinc.com. Thank you so much for your participation, and we wish you a pleasant day ahead.